The oldest SS in the world. Would that be right, Dominic? One of the oldest, certainly, in the world. Conventionally styled, outward, similar to the SS90. It was in effect William Lyons' first true production sports car, with its elegant sweeping lines, excellent handling and lively performance. The car attracted considerable press interest, and it was in standard road trim. The new car was capable of around 95 miles an hour. Not only was the Jaguar a superb performer on the roads, it soon proved its worth in international competitions, of which I'm sure Dominic Nolan here will elaborate a little more on some. And he's actually met some of the guys that actually drove these cars around Le Mans and around the racing tracks of the world, this very car. So Dominic, over to you.
Well, I started off by actually buying a model of this car, and I never dreamt I'd actually own one of them. And through a lot of time and study and so on like that, it took me to America, where this car was unassembled for 12 years. And it was only a two-owner car. It was in England till 1959, and then went to Chicago in 1959. And a man called Morrison owned it. And about 20 years ago, he gave it in for restoration. They took it apart, and he couldn't afford the restoration fees. So he sold it to the people who are restoring it. And then he sold it for $40,000. And then another financial person paid another $40,000. And between one thing and another, it was never restored because the two partners fell out. And one of them went through a massive divorce, which put that at home. So I bought it 12 years ago, and I spent 4,000 hours restoring it.
And can I just ask you, what year is this again, Dominic? Remind us.
It's a 1937. It's the fifth 3.5 litre Jaguar made, and that would be got to do with the engine as well as the car. There was 320 of these cars made. There's maybe 250 survive, and they're on a register in America in the Classic Jag Association.
And would you like to tell us what you reckon the value of this car is?
Well, the value, I think, of course, the car is worth what you can get at the time, but it holds a value of between 150 and 200,000 sterling.
And how about insurance on this car now?
Well, insurance, I mean, I just basically insure it as part of a garage policy as such. I look after it well. Nobody's going to get it, so it won't be robbed. It's well secured and so forth like that. I don't know. When it comes down to these claims, it's certainly not insured for the amount it's worth, because I just wouldn't be able to afford to insure it.
And what was it attracted you to the SS car as against the normal Jaguar type cars, or the Mercedes or the MGs?
Well, I think that Lyons had a great eye for design, and I mean this is a very flamboyant type of car. It's probably it's larger than an MG. It has a 6-cylinder engine, 3.5 litre, fast car, and rare. I mean, I collected antiques for a number of years, and this really attracted me, but I never realised that I would ever own one till the opportunity came up to buy one that was unassembled. And believe you me, I mean, I paid a lot of money for it, even unassembled.
Okay, and again, what sort of mileage, as I asked the other drivers, what sort of mileage would you get to the gallon in this?
You get about 17 to 20, you know, depending on whether you're climbing or on straight roads.
And what sort of runs have you done in it?
I've done the Centenary Rally in 201, it's 1,000 miles around Ireland. I've been to England on many rallies, so it's a car I use quite a lot. Because I rebuilt it, I know every part of it. So if something goes wrong, I can look into it, or I can ring up the AA and tell them to dirty their hands while I tell them what to do.
And tell me, when the AA do come out, do they know, or do you really have to tell them what to do?
They're absolutely fascinated by it, and they love being involved because I can show them things that they wouldn't come across. Obviously, you have a car of this nature, unless you're a millionaire, which I'm not. You have to learn about it as such,
And do you find any, as a matter of interest with the AA, I had an experience myself a few years ago. I have a Jaguar too, and I remember I had a big problem, I couldn't solve it, and I rang the AA, and the same guy kept coming out to me, and he used to ring me up to know, was I all right then? He loved coming out just to work on the car. Do you have any particular guy in the AA that just fancies coming out to your car?
No, unfortunately, I mean, it doesn't break down all that often as such. It's only if something goes wrong. Now, this particular car, you know, I have a number of cars. This particular car I hadn't had much trouble with because I rebuilt it, so, you know, I know what's what on it and I can solve it myself. And I have a very good son-in-law who's standing over there at the moment. I give him a ring and he comes out. But it's a great idea if you own a classic car to be a member of the AA, because they are very helpful and you know, and they like actually doing things on them.
Now, something that our visitors here today may be interested in, you say you rebuilt the car. You're not a mechanic, okay? So how did you get the knowledge or acquire the knowledge, or how would you recommend to people here today to acquire the knowledge if they want to do something similar?
It's fanaticism really at the end of the day. I mean, this car is an ash frame. And Tony Clark, which is standing over in the yellow jacket, he helped me to reconstruct some of the parts of it. And it's truly the comradeship of other motorists that you learn. I mean, and that's what it's all about. It's the fun of finding out, and it's great joy to find. It's like being at school and learning something, you know, and without going back to school. And that's how it's done. It's a comradeship. And with modern technology, with emails and that, you can actually email somebody in America or wherever, and you know, you can find out things.
Well, I think you'll all agree with me. Dominic has done a tremendous job of work on his SS100 to build it, not being a mechanic, to build it from scratch himself, just acquiring parts and that, and putting them together. Would you give him a round of applause there? His SS100, Dominic Nolan. Well, for the moment that's it, ladies and gentlemen, but very shortly I believe we're going to have, I think just about now, presentation of the awards for the cars and bikes here today, in the various categories. Would Luke Lawler